Greetings, gentlemen. My name is Mike Fluke, and you're watching the Philo Republic podcast. And in this episode, I'd like to discuss how it isn't business as usual for men retiring abroad. Boomers who picked up and left everything behind for greener pastures, including free healthcare, are discovering that all the goodies in the developing world's metaphorical buffet are not as fresh and abundant as they once were. Let's take a gander at how boomers are at odds with passport bros, and how they can avoid getting the short straw when pursuing a good woman to share their twilight years. All right, so right off the top, I just want to say I'm not here to shit on my elder peers. I actually, most of my friends, they're in their 60s. You know, the guys that I hang out with the most. Every Monday and Friday, we grab a coffee, we hang out, we talk about life, and I find older guys are more interesting. I can learn more from them, and they have more life experience than I do, and generally, it's just a good time. But I do also have to say that there's a few things that I've observed personally through their stories and through my own experiences, and I thought I would share them in this video. So I guess we will jump right into it. You guys aren't the ideal tourists anymore. You're not the A game anymore. You know, I think that molds are being recast across the board, and there's fresh eyes looking at male expats who come from the West of all ages, late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. Everybody's looking at us now. Social media is really altering perceptions. My generation, I've got to contend with Vitaly and that whole nonsense. You know, it went right up to the top. Even Marcos himself watched that video and was disgusted with what he saw. And that's putting a very negative spotlight on my generation. And we always knew that there was nasty boomers, you know, pay pigs, you know, and they're also getting increased scrutiny inside the Philippines. So where I have Vitaly, you've got this guy.
This girl, she showed me her Philippine Armed Forces ID. And she came over to my shithole room, sir, in the beautiful Mandawi. She came to my room, bro. And we had a lot of fucking fun, sir. And I'm just telling you, man. This is, oh my God. Ricky Drama Live. Out here about to catch you. Beautiful action. Ready, action. That's right. Get your foot in the water. Now come back up. That's it. Looking good. Strike a pose. I mean, can you imagine me walking around the base with this hot, sexy, beautiful Filipina that's a member of the armed forces, and she's in her fatigues, and matter of fact, I've been already calling her Sergeant. I mean, I was like, Sergeant, permission to. And if you're young and dumb, maybe you'll get a relationship out here, bro. But now most of these girls, they're just interested, in getting, cash is king out here. Cash is king out here more than ever before, bro. More than ever before. Anyway, because this beautiful, sexy 19-year-old was so hot on the video, and then I came down here yesterday on the Ocean Jet. And she, of course, at the last second decides, that she's going to bring her friend along, which ended up being her sister. But this girl was so beautiful, bro. So beautiful when I met her at the terminal, bro. Oh, my God. But, of course, it was never going to work, bro. I mean, why even why even waste your time putting on a granny on YouTube, bro? I don't even get it. You know, I mean, you got to try. You got to try. That's what I'm saying. Everyone's like, "Where's your girl? Where's your girl? Where's your girl?" Bro, I have to sit here and just wait, man, because sooner or later I'm gonna get a girl that is
Later.
just gonna be, the next level, bro. I mean, I already had Dora drama on here. I've already had Apple drama on here. I've had Lily drama on here. I mean, I've had the big titty girl. I've had Honey. I've had all kinds of girls from Thailand, Philippines. We have to wait until we get the girl that's going to be off the charts hot, bro. I mean, just completely off the charts hot, bro. And what's the you know and it don't matter what the cost. It don't matter what the cost of support's going to be, bro. I'm going to pay it.
Yeah. So that's what your generation's contending with. That's nice. Hey, if you are a man who's considering coming to the Philippines and you're in your twilight years, there's a few factors that you absolutely must consider in the never-ending math equation that is life in Southeast Asia and in the Philippines in particular. The first factor is that social media saturation within the Philippines is complete. Anybody that will use it is using it. That's going to, because let's be real, the most offensive material is what surfaces and bubbles up to the top. So we're now contending with a whole new level of scrutiny. Whether we're 30, 40, 50, 60, or 70, we are all dealing with much more scrutiny. We keep getting older. This is number 2. We keep getting older, but our girlfriends stay the same age. They have now been completely bathed in social media their entire lives. Unlike us, unlike me, and unlike you. We remember what it was like to, go out until the streetlights came on. They don't. Online income, this is the third factor. Online income was the beginning of the end. And that started around 10 years ago. It was the beginning of the end for the boomer generation living in Southeast Asia, because now it meant that there was a bunch of guys that had the option of coming here earlier in their lives and flooding the dating market. But it became an acute reality during and after the pandemic. The next factor is the economy in the West, our politics, our governments. They're folding in on themselves. And then the final factor is the fact that good luck if you're a man my age or younger. I'm 44 from Canada. If you're my age or younger, good luck finding a woman in Canada or the United States or anywhere in the West for that matter. Even Eastern Europe is starting to go this way. A woman that wants to start a family, have kids, and be a homemaker, a traditional wife. Good luck finding that, because the Bolsheviks have finally won. And marriage and homemaking is oppression. It's oppression now. It's near impossible to find a girl back home that cleans up after herself, let alone knows how to cook a meat pie. They don't make them like they used to. They call that Hoflation. In order to find a woman that is good as my grandmother, I have to work 100 times harder than my grandfather did. And that goes for buying a house, finding a wife, having 3, 5, or 9 kids like you guys, or like your parents did. So it's just getting a lot tougher. So with all of these things considered, now let's look at the outcomes for you, for boomers. The outcomes are that you guys were here before us, and you guys were showering ladies with good times. You were the good time guys. You were leading with your wallet, and girls were getting a lot of attention in their late 20s, 30s, and early 40s. Their personal value system was based on the tingles that they would get from fresh eyes that would court them. And after doing that in their 20s and in their 30s and in their 40s, now they are panicking. They're reaching their own female version of midlife crisis. They realize the music has stopped and there's no empty chairs. So now they got to somehow find a guy that'll give them stability and security. But their value system, their self-validation came from guys that were, showering them with attention. And when you flip that big rusty lever over to security to find a provider guy, I don't think two things can be true at once. I don't think that a girl can still feel validated on a day-to-day basis, fully satisfied in her self-validation by getting the attention of only one man for the rest of her life. I just don't think that's possible. And I think if you're, if you're fully cognitive, I think you'd probably agree with me on that. So how does that play out? These girls feel like maybe, they'll never admit that they made a mistake. That's not even an option. But if you go to a nice restaurant and it's your date night for the week or the month, depending on how large your pension is, and you're nice to the waitress and you smile and you say, "You look nice tonight." Oh no. Your highly insecure lady who is no longer being validated by a sea of men is going to be jealous of that. And she's going to badger you. You're going to have many sleepless nights. You will not have peace in your household. Nope. You're going to have to put the blinders on everywhere you go with that kind of lady. And then you're going to deal with her single friends that'll continually get her to go out. Come out for girls' night. And then when they go out to whatever local watering hole where people can dance, you know who's going to be there? Me. Or one of the multiple countries that are sending their best military-aged men to prepare for World War III with China. And then they're going to get the tingles again. And they're going to be flip-flopping back and forth between girls' night out and getting the tingles from Johnny on the dance floor, and then getting security from you, and then getting the tingles, and then getting the security. And they're going to be hot, and they're going to be cold, and they're going to be hot, and they're going to be cold. And it's going to drive you batty. Could drive you to an early grave. So what's the solution? You can no longer lead with your wallet. Your pension is not better than the generation coming after you, for most of you. As a result, you're going to have to start leading with personal health and fitness. So I'm going to propose a few solutions. One, teeth can be fixed. Hop to it, boys. Type 2 diabetes can be reversed with fasting. And it can do a heck of a lot of good for you. And fasting is just generally good to do, like for a few days a month at least. It helps you fight any possible cancer that might be growing inside your body. It helps clear your arteries. It gives your body a much needed break from all the Filipino food that you've probably been consuming. And then the last thing I can think of, or there's a couple more, the cities are not all they're cracked up to be. Provincial areas are pretty good. I wouldn't know where to go. I mean, I've got another video about some areas you might want to check out. I personally just don't know what it's like to be in your shoes completely. And then the last thing is to consider, and I know a lot of you guys are going to think this one's stupid, but hear me out. There's a huge trend in the West right now among men your age and mine, where fertility clinics are opening left, right, and center, and men are doing testosterone replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy, where you take a little prick of testosterone. You can do it once or twice a week, or you can take a little microdose once a day. You use a little diabetic needle. It just goes subcutaneous. I'm not taking it, obviously. I'm not looking very, I got girly arms, so I'm not using it right now. But when I get a little older, maybe I'll consider it. But you do that, and within a few months, because I've seen men do it, all that extra body weight melts off, your muscle mass increases, the brain fog goes away, and your pecker works properly again. Wow, you'll have more than one sexual position again. And you're just going to feel a hell of a lot better. So I guess, this is my bucket of ice water for my boomer friends. It's time to start leading with health and fitness, because leading with your wallet isn't good enough anymore. The dating market is completely saturated by my generation, and we are drinking your milkshake. So, yeah, what do you think? Am I a dick? Let me know in the comments. My name is Mike Fluke. You've been watching the Philo Republic podcast, and I really do hope that maybe you might consider supporting the channel. There's links in the description. You can also join the members only community. But at the very least, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video. Did I cross a line? Am I being rude? Because guys, trust me, you guys are going to be at least 2/3 of my audience, so I'm not trying to piss you off. And please, at the very end of the day, remember that the purpose of this podcast, the whole vision for this thing, is to be a live discussion panel with 4 to 5 lovely Filipina ladies sitting around a table for 3 hours per day, 3 days per week. Or if you're in the West, that would be 3 nights per week, on a live stream where men in the West can interact with them, just like you do on Fresh and Fit or whatever podcast. I need a little help with that, because it's going to cost me roughly $300 per episode to get that off the ground, because I got to pay the ladies because they're shy and they probably have to take a day off work. And I need one more piece of gear that'll help me combine multiple internet connections into one, so that way I can actually stream it reliably. There's links in the descriptions where you can throw me a couple bones. That would be nice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.